Hey y'all, so we're back with our heart to heart reflections, and we are talking about how to position ourselves well so that we can be who God desires us to be because we are His children, and so that we can receive what Abba has for us. Okay, so we just talked about in the last video the position of a beggar, all right? Somebody who is solely dependent on others for sustenance to actually sustain, to live, okay? And that is a position that we do not want to be in, all right? That is a position where honestly we are inactive, we are laying, we are lame. And when I say lame, I just mean like stuck, like there is no movement. Okay. Yeah, you may get kind of resources that are temporary, but you keep going back in the same cycle. So the goal is to not show up as the beggar. When you show up as the beggar, you are honestly decreasing your value. Okay. And that's not where God desires us to be. And that's not how He has designed you. So today we're going to explore, do you show up as the borrower? Okay. So what is that? Let's get into it. Let's explore it. So a borrower is a person who is in debt to another person. Okay. So if you need money, someone gives you a loan. Now that is money that, yes, you have received, but you've again received it in a temporary fashion because it actually belongs to another person and you got to pay it back. Okay. And then, the Bible tells us some stuff about borrowers. In Proverbs 22:7, it says the rich rules over the poor and the borrower is the slave of the lender. Now that's kind of strong language, talking about, dang, you're a borrower, you're a slave to the lender. But essentially it's saying, y'all, when we are borrowing stuff, like you don't really have freedom until that debt is paid. So you are indebted to whomever lent you something. Okay. That is what that's saying. Okay. So you may be saying, okay, Dr. Nia, I understand debt. I understand borrowing. But how does this relate to me and how I'm living? Well, y'all, when I think of borrowing, the way I kind of see this show up is that we are borrowing other people's identity. So you really don't feel free. You really don't have healing. You really don't have confidence. You really don't have self-esteem. So you borrow feeling confident when you're around and with other people. You borrow feeling worthy and having self-esteem through your relationships and your connections. You borrow feeling dignity and worth through your mentor or whoever you're in close relationship with, right? So it's like, yes, again, you have those things temporarily, but as soon as that person is gone, or they walk away, or that program is over, or you just find yourself in an empty space where this individual is not available, they're not there, you can no longer access them. Guess what? You're empty because what you had, it was loaned. It was never actually yours, okay? And so the borrower focuses on like, okay, I'm going to get this need met through my association with other people versus I'm going to actually cultivate this thing myself. Yeah, I know it may be hard. I know, you know what I'm saying? I really want my own personal relationship with God. But as long as I can sit close to mama, because I know she good, I know she's seated on the right hand with the Father, I know she going to heaven, whoop-de-woo, I'm good. But again, when mama actually dies and goes to heaven, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you've been borrowing mama's faith. You've been borrowing mama's true religion, right? And so we need to take steps, you all, to position ourselves so that instead of borrowing, we can be authentic and we can actually boldly access these things from the Father ourselves, okay? So I want you to self-reflect and ask yourself, what do I consistently experience through the company of other people, right? Particularly like if you have a mentor, someone who you admire, maybe even, your pastor or somebody who you feel very much so inspired by, which these are not bad things. But let's say there is a particular trait or characteristic where it's like you realize, like, man, I don't really feel like I have my own faith. Like every time or anytime something happens, I got to call my whole family before I can just go boldly before the throne of grace myself to obtain mercy in the time of need and pray and ask the Lord to help me, right? I'm borrowing everybody else's faith. Again, I am not against asking for help, seeking help, receiving community. I'm not against those things. But what I'm saying, friends, is if you are in a position to where you don't actually have that faith yourself, you don't actually have the confidence, the courage yourself, let's recognize it, number one. Let's confess it, number two. And then let's ask the Lord to help us get repositioned so that, Lord, I don't want to be in debt to other people borrowing this, but I want to have it truly, authentically for myself. And I repent, God, of even not trusting you enough and coming to you enough for what I know I can have access through you and that you can give me, because you're so good and that's who you want me to be anyway. Okay. So are you a beggar? Are you a borrower? Are you the daughter? That's what we're asking. That's what we're answering. And in our next video, we're going to talk about how to get positioned as a daughter. So know that I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.